tartan, love tartan. Tartan. Whoever created that is an amazing person. Thank you, Scotland. Hi, I'm Millie Manders and I'm a singer-songwriter from South London here with AfterDark. Music's been in my house since I can remember. I can never remember a time when my house wasn't filled with some sort of music. My dad was into like 70s pop music, rock music, mod music. He was always on the button with stuff that was coming out as well, like new stuff, Cypress Hill, Prodigy, all that kind of stuff from the early 90s onwards. My mum was into like real pop music, like the Carpenters and things like that, but she would get us subscription CDs, so we'd have like the old R&B artists like Chuck Berry and Aretha Franklin and Otis Redding, but on the other side of that we'd also have a classical subscription, so Holst, Rachmaninoff, Mozart, whatever. So we had the length and breadth of music to listen to as kids. At 5 years old, I became interested in playing my own instruments. Started on the recorder, dabbled in playing the piano. Never really did get the hand of that whole thing. And then at 7, I started on the clarinet. Passed my grade 5 when I was 11, then moved on to saxophone. Played sax until I was about 15 on the alto and soprano. And then at 15 years old, I discovered I could sing. My mum thinks that I could sing in my high chair through my food. She says that I was always singing, even as a tiny one. But yeah, at 15 I discovered I could sing and went for singing lessons as a 16th birthday present for about 6 months, and that's what I've done since. So I knew that as soon as I discovered I could sing, there's so much enjoyment in being able to use your voice to create every emotion going. And also then to be able to express your own stories and experiences through communicating it through words and melodies. So yeah, there was no way that that was ever going to be a go back. The ukulele I started in January of this year. Basically, I decided that I wanted to be able to understand chord structures and things better, give myself another angle on songwriting. And it was also to have something that I could then have as a portable instrument. So if I wanted to go and busk, I could go and busk. If I wanted to do a little acoustic gig down the road in the Queen's Head, in God knows where, you know, I could. It was as simple as that, just very much more portable and easy. And I'm now learning things like keys and the way that a song is structured and works with, and relates back to my stringed instrument. I'm starting to learn guitar as well.
I pity you, baby, you and your little big mouth. I pity you, baby, you and your little big mouth. Standing there in front of the mirror, putting on your layers 3. You take out to put your makeup on to hide your insecurity. Well, I pity you, baby, you and your little big mouth.
The story behind that was women can be really horrible people. We all know this. Men have a way of just dealing with something. Generally speaking, it's one punch to the face and everything's over and it's water under the bridge and everybody's happy again. Women hold grudges, they're bitchy. I've been there, do that. Like if someone pisses me off, if somebody upsets me, I can certainly be one to kick up a fuss and not get over it very quickly, or at least in the past. That particular song was, I had a couple of instances where girls didn't like me for no particular reason, and they'd just be a bitch. One in particular stepped up to me and decided to give me some grief to my face. I've got no time for that sort of thing anymore. It used to be that I would instantly shout back, argue back, get into a fight, whatever it was. These days, I just get bored instantly. And the way I deal with it is write a song. The way I deal with most of my anxiety or anger or hurt is to write a song these days, because it's a really good way of therapy without ever hurting somebody else. So yeah, Little Big Mouth came out that way. there's so many different styles that I love. I've always been a bit of a tomboy. My mum could never get me in a dress without me kicking and screaming as a kid. I think when I was 11, I had my first pair of gravity jeans. Do you remember spliffy jeans? No? Kid with like dreadlocks and a big spliff hanging out of his mouth was embroidered onto the back of these jeans. And I had my first... Do you remember them, yeah? So I had my first pair of those and the waistcoat, the matching waistcoat when I was 11 years old, because I didn't want to dress like a girl. I wanted baggy jeans, and I wanted Dr. Martens, and I wanted big T-shirts. So I've always been a bit like that. I've always loved like the 70s punk look, like that kind of like ripped up clothing, safety pins everywhere, tartan. Love tartan. I said the other day to somebody, I think it's a cross between 90s hip hop, 70s punk, and just all out scruff bag. That's me. That is who I am. Like, if it fits my music, great. If it doesn't, it's the way I want to look. You have to be comfortable with who you are. And if you are comfortable with who you are and the image that you want to project, and you're comfortable with the music that you're creating and you're happy with that too, the two marry themselves anyway. Like if you're trying too hard to create this image and perception of yourself, 9 times out of 10, you're just going to end up unhappy and it's going to look uncomfortable anyway. You know? You have to go out there knowing that what you look like and what you're presenting is what you want to do. In this kind of industry, it's not like in the good old days when a rep would go into a pub, go, "You're amazing, love, let's spend a couple of £1 million on you and I'm going to give you A&R and PR and all of this sort of stuff." It's going into a pub and going, "You're amazing, but what do you do for yourself? How hard do you work? How do I know that if I set up all of these interviews and touring with this band that you're actually going to go out and you're going to tweet about it, you're going to talk about it, you're going to invite people to the gigs, you're going to do that work?" And so from the very roots of your starting out as a musician, you need to have that work ethic. And sometimes you'll only sleep 3 hours a night because you're getting tweets through from people in America and they want to hear back from you. Your fans are important. Everything about your promotion is now a two-way relationship with your fans. I'd quite like to play a stadium, obviously, anybody would. I mean, standing up in front of a stadium full of tens of thousands of people that all know your songs and know who you are and want to be a part of that experience is one of the most amazing and mind-blowing thoughts ever. So if I ever get to that, then of course I want to do it. But I love playing little pubs and stuff. Like, I mean, I've done a few festivals this year and it was great to have a really big crowd and stuff because that's what a festival is. It draws in more people, so more people are exposed to you. And that kind of feeling is phenomenal. But equally, being a foot away from someone on a stage who can then instantly come up to you after you've had a gig and say, "I really, really love what you do." There's nothing like that, you know. You're looking into their face, you're smiling back at them, you're interacting with each and every person that's within that space. And there's nothing that can beat that at all. So no, I'd never want to give that up either. Yeah, the snare is a completely different project that I got invited into as a second vocalist. So I am the second lead vocalist in the band that is the snare. It was Craig Cassie's brainchild. He is a brilliant lyricist, brilliant songwriter. And it's something that I may well end up writing lyrics and co-writing with. But at the moment, it's very much Craig's project. And it's just something that I'm really enjoying doing. They're a really great bunch of people. We played Boomtown this year. That was great fun. I'm just having a lot of fun with it. And I love the genre anyway. Ska punk is like my thing. So yeah, it's a real honour to be brought into a band that actually is already established. They've got a great fan base already. And I'm really, at the moment, just going along for the ride. So yeah. I've got a few exciting bits and bobs happening. The ones that are absolutely imminent, I've got horn lines being written, I've got a beautiful trombone player and a saxophonist that I've brought on board. We're currently writing lines together and that should be happening. I'll be introducing them to the band on the 15th of November at an all-day ska event out in New Cross. I'm going to be up and down the country again before Christmas. I've got Norwich, Kent, Wales and Bristol booked at the moment in the lead up to Christmas. We're doing some more songwriting, having a bit of a line-up change in the band. And I've also got my first Paris gig happening in November, and I'm in talks with Switzerland? Yeah, Switzerland at the moment, so we shall see. I may have a couple of gigs out there before the year is out too, so yeah, some really exciting things happening, and hopefully end of this year, early next year, we'll have a full band recording that we can push out to some people, get it online for people to hear what it really sounds like when it's live. So yeah.